Hello, and welcome to my channel, Wildwood Vagabond. I'm Rachel. Today I wanted to share with you 8 things you should know before visiting Texas. I thought this would be a beautiful place to film my video. I'm out here in East Texas visiting my dad, and this is Toledo Bend Lake. It's a very large lake out here, and it just is so beautiful. It's one of my favorite places to be. Texas has some really beautiful lakes. Without further ado, let's get started. These are in no certain order, but some things are really important to know when visiting Texas for the first time. Number 1 is everything really is bigger in Texas. The food portions are bigger, the cities are way bigger, and the distance between locations is a lot larger than in Europe and in Finland. So I recommend if you go out to eat with someone, you might consider saving money by sharing a portion with someone. You could save money because there really is enough food for 2 people easily when you go out to eat in restaurants here. Also, when you're planning to visit different cities, or you're wanting to travel across the city or across the state, just keep in mind that the distance between locations is really huge, and you need to plan ahead, and you need to know about how long it's going to take you to go from point A to point B, so that it doesn't take up a lot of your precious time that you have if you're just visiting here. So that leads me to number 2. You will need a car when visiting Texas. Yes, in the very center of some of the downtown areas, like in Houston and Dallas, in the bigger cities, there is public transportation and you can get away with walking. However, if you want to travel outside of the city center, you will need a car. We don't have great public transportation here, as I mentioned in some other videos, and so you definitely will need a car if you're going to want to explore. You're going to need to rent a car. Number 3, rush hour. Avoid the freeways and avoid driving, if at all possible, during rush hour. You can Google it, depending on what city you're in. Like, for example, what is rush hour in Houston? It's usually, I personally try to stay off of the road anytime between 3:30 and 6:30 in the afternoon, in the evening, because I know that it's going to be backed up and you will get stuck, and it will just kind of eat away hours from your day. So just plan ahead. Vehicular accidents occur a lot more here in Texas than I've read in Europe and than what I experienced in Finland. When I lived in Finland, I saw maybe 1, maybe 2. I remember for sure 1 accident during the 4 years that I lived there. I read recently that in Texas, accidents occur every 57 seconds in Texas, and in Finland there was something like 230 to 240 accidents that occurred in the whole of 2018. So please be very careful and alert and mindful when you're driving on Texas roads, because people here just don't watch out. It's like they're the only person on the road many times. You might be a great driver, but there's other people that really aren't great drivers and shouldn't even have a driver's license. So just watch out and be mindful of people not paying attention while they're driving. Which leads me to number 4, which is road rage is real. Road rage is a real thing here, and people get just ridiculously upset over the smallest things, and just it seems like there's just this tension on the roadways. People are in such a hurry, and they have just little to no patience. If you might pause for a moment at a stop sign, maybe you're lost, you're trying to figure out where you want to go, people can get really upset. I was at a stop sign the other day. I didn't know it was a 4-way stop. I didn't know where I was going. I was traveling from Marble Falls back here to East Texas to my dad's, and she got belligerent. She was just shaking her hands and cussing at me, and I was just like, okay, just God bless you. Like, hi, have a nice day. That's how I react typically to people who are out of their mind for some reason. You're not moving fast enough, or you accidentally cut in front of them. I normally am just like counter it with a have a nice day, and you know, wave at them and hey, because it just really makes them even more angry. Maybe that's not very nice, but that's how I react. Number 5, trespassing. It's hard to know sometimes, especially if you're in a rural area. There aren't always clear markers of when it's someone else's land. But here, it's absolutely not okay to go onto someone else's land without consent first. And there is a law in Texas that you can use non-deadly force to prevent or terminate trespassing on your land. And so there's a lot of people that take that really seriously, and they do not like strangers on their land. So even if you might be exploring, just kind of be aware of your surroundings and know where you are. And if you're not sure if it's private land, then just don't go on it. You're not allowed to use deadly force if someone comes onto your property unless they're breaking into your home. If they're breaking into your home, there's a law that you can use deadly force. A person could be shot when they forcefully enter into someone else's home out of self-defense. Not that you would do that visiting, I'm just letting you know that there are those type of laws. That's a major big difference of Texas and in Finland. Alright, so on to some more nicer things. Number 6, you will experience Southern hospitality. And I just wanted to bring that up because I know a lot of my Finnish friends really value their personal space and don't enjoy small talk too much. But here in Texas, we do greet people we don't know, and I feel like most of the time it is very genuine. You might, in a rural area, you might see someone waving at you, a complete stranger, and it's normal. Just wave back. If you don't respond to someone and you don't wave back and they're saying hi, you could come across as really rude here. So just keep that in mind. You know, and don't be afraid that if someone does say hi, how are you doing, that they're actually trying to start a conversation with you. They're really just saying hi and greeting you. So you can just reply with a simple, I'm doing fine, thanks. How are you? Or you don't even have to ask, how are you? You can just say, I'm doing fine, thanks. Or have a good day. And you will just keep going on your way. And just go with it. Just try to experience it and loosen up a little. Number 7, we have so much good food here in Texas. Texans, we love food and we like big portions of it. So like I said, share with someone. When you go out to a restaurant, you could save money. If you're not vegan and you don't have certain food limitations, definitely try Texas barbecue. Texas barbecue, it's really good. And Tex Mex, you have to try Tex Mex. And even if you are vegan, there are options that you can try in Tex Mex restaurants. Tex Mex is not the same as Mexican food. I love Tex Mex. It's one of my favorite foods. But make sure if you are vegan and you go to a Tex Mex or Mexican food restaurant to ask them if their beans, refried beans, or any of their beans are cooked in pork grease, because I would say probably 90% of Mexican food restaurants cook their beans in a pork grease. And so you would want to know that if they're vegetarian or not. You can ask your server and they would be able to tell you. But definitely experience Tex-Mex, and if you drink alcohol, just for the whole experience, I would recommend having a margarita, a frozen margarita, or margarita on the rocks with your meal, with your Mexican food meal. You just don't want to miss out on that. It's just part of the culture here, and in my opinion, one of my favorite things about the Texas culture here. There are plenty of restaurants to choose from here. Anywhere you go, there's like a plethora of restaurants to experience. So whatever type of food, type of cuisine that you would be into, you will be able to find it here in Texas because we love our food. With that said, however, on Sundays, I would recommend anytime between probably 12 to 3 o'clock. I would avoid restaurants if you don't want to wait in line and if you don't like big crowds, because there is going to be a church rush, and that's in the city, that's in a rural town, that's pretty much anywhere, because after church is always a Sunday lunch rush in the restaurant. So avoid it during that time if you don't want to wait a while for your food. And this brings me to the last one, number 8. Don't drink and drive here in Texas. We have very strict laws, rightfully so. 0.08 blood alcohol content is the legal limit. Anything over that, you can get arrested for a DWI. the laws are really strict here, and I would advise getting an Uber or a Lyft or having a designated driver just as a bonus one. Just have fun, get out, explore. Texas is beautiful. It's so diverse. No matter what region of Texas you go to, you could just drive a little bit outside of the city and just see parts of the state that aren't, you know, touristy. Pretty much wraps it up. If I think of more, I might make another video. Alright, so I hope you're all doing well wherever you are. And I'm curious, where are you from? Have you experienced road rage where you're living at? Please let me know in the comments section, because I think it's kind of a scary thing here. I mean, I've had some incidences where I was a little bit scared for my life because people acting so ignorant.